Ladies and gentlemen, it's been about 3 days since Turkey Tom dropped his video debunking some of the accusations, if not all of the accusations made by these women by the name of Rowan and Katie. And Rowan and Katie are apparently working on some big expose. They're working on a response video, which, between you and I don't think is ever going to come, considering the fact that Katie, aka Left 4 Dead, hasn't been active on the internet since Monday, where she said that she was watching Tom's response video on a plane and that she was going to end this lying F-slur. Safe to say, I don't think a plane ride, a plane trip is 3 days long, but who knows, maybe she ended up, some Amelia Earhart stuff happened. She's stuck in the middle of an island somewhere, as well as Sacramento, aka Rowan, whose last text or post was on Tuesday at 6 p.m., where she said she doesn't know how to convert her files and screenshots to a PDF, and for some reason does not have text logs from before June. Now, again, I just want to kind of make an update video on this whole situation. I think it's only fair. I did end up making about 7 parts of the Turkey Tom situation, which I've received a lot of hate for some reason. I just want to kind of put out the fact that I cover allegations as they come out, right? Throughout all of my coverage of the Turkey Tom stuff, I've kind of gave my thoughts that I don't care what this dude does behind closed doors. If it comes out that this guy's just an insane gooner, which it seems to have been confirmed, I'm still going to support him as a creator. I even admitted to my bias that I look up to Tom and I like the content he produces. If anything, it's kind of like an influence for the kind of content that I produce. And a lot of people have been saying, Cameron, delete all your videos. You're pushing these allegations and lies and blah, blah, blah. And if anything, I wasn't. I'm an archivist. I like to post things and talk about things and give my thoughts on things. And through every video I made covering Tom, I gave my thoughts and said, hey, we gotta wait for more, right? Now, back to the e-girls in question. This was Rowan's response to Turkey Tom's video. Number 1, thanks for doxing me, Tom. Number 2, you gonna address DMing minors. Number 3, I asked you to film like one time. The rest of the time, you just whip the camera out. You are a lying POS. Now, obviously at this point, nobody cared what she had to say because her entire allegations have basically been debunked. So she decided to throw in DMing minors allegations. For context, what happened in this situation was another person came out who, by the way, ended up taking back the allegations because it was nothing. Tom ended up messaging a girl who was 15. He never said anything bad. He followed them. He like swiped up once or twice to like say, oh, that band is cool. Like that's cool music. And then he found out they were 15 and unfollowed them, right? That's a nothing burger. Accidents happen. Whoops. Stop following random e-girls, Tom. That's all you can really say to that situation. She then ended up saying, also, I wasn't bleeding because of my period. You know damn well. I told you I liked it because I gave in to you hitting me in the freaking face. You are an R-word, Tom. Again, another allegation that people aren't going to believe, considering the fact that every single thing that you talked about and made up was debunked by Tom's video with screenshots. You can argue, again, there's context missing from both sides, sure. But the fact that Tom's screenshots provide said context of some of these things, and she wasn't willing to provide that and made it seem like there was whole, all of this was just completely fabricated and, she was just some innocent girl who Tom leashed onto and, was just taken advantage of and blah, 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 couldn't be further from the truth. Now, this guy whose name I'm going to have to censor said, Sacramento, we're all waiting patiently for the 10 instances of, well, I only consented to this thing because I had to at the time, and I didn't show the parts of my text where I said I liked it because I didn't really mean it. Please take your time. Do not use the thread as a live tweet repository and make one big reply. Maybe Noel can give you a second terrible interview even. And then Sacramento says, okay, you're right. I haven't even watched the video. I'm just going off what Katie's told me about it, so I don't have any idea how he tried to spin it. I just know we have a response coming to debunk most of whatever he's saying. How the hell do you have a debunk for something you haven't watched? And again, why did you immediately come straight to Kiwi Farms to talk about how Tom is a dishonest R-word when you didn't watch the video? Yeah, it was a little long. It was like 40 minutes. Put it on, 2x speed while you're driving or something. It's 20 minutes. And it debunked every single thing, every single claim that you made. He didn't try to spin anything. He might not have been a little explicit or detailed on a few things that, again, I don't really care about. But He was pretty honest for the most part and provided details and context that you forgot to. I don't understand her response in like situation where she's trying to be like, well, he lied. Yeah. I mean, I didn't admit it. I didn't watch the video, so I don't know what he lied about, but he did. Katie told me. Oh, Katie also lied, but like, I don't know. We're going to respond. Gunt asks, are you going to address anything? Sacramento says, we're going to make a statement once we both watch the video and collected our thoughts. Again, didn't you just say Katie has already seen the video? And by this time, you should have seen the video already. It's been hours since Tom posted it at this point. Again, you're the main person in this thread, the one who started this entire thing, yet you can't take 40 minutes out of your extremely busy life to say something. Now, in reference to Nicholas DiOrio accusing Rowan of doxing, she ended up saying, I didn't dox anyone. Tom's side chick just said she was at VidCon with your girlfriend and I asked her who she was, LOL. And here's basically the nail in the coffin for Rowan. She admits to essentially lying about everything, saying, yeah, I overblew some crap. Like I said, I gave into it and I told him I liked it. I should have been 100% about it. But I will say I didn't lie about Brandon doing whippets. Katie brought it up first. And those texts are real, hence why he doxed me. And yeah, a response is coming at this point. It's all out there, so whatever, main. Ralph Male is ugly as F, whoever he is. I don't know who that is either. But yeah, Sacramento basically said, Brandon Buckingham doxed me, so there's nothing to lose. Now on Tuesday at 5:34 a.m., Sacramento basically put out her statement, saying, I understand people have rightfully called me out for saying stuff about Tom without providing the full context and spinning the narrative about certain things. I'm sorry for not providing the full context of the situation. Here's the full truth with no lies, just 100% coming clean. Again, I don't know if anyone's going to trust her, but let's look at it. Yes, we were both into the kinky stuff, but I will say he did never ask before engaging in it, so I just assumed he was into that and played into it. From after our first sexual encounter, on our first sexual encounter, he was very rough and I engaged in choking and BDSM without asking before. What he was into was basically blank play and CNC, so that's why I repeatedly refer to it as such. That wasn't out of the blue, me calling our encounters blank. I never asked him to be especially sexually aggressive at first. It was like that from the jump. It was because of the nature of our encounters, I assumed that what he was into. Yes, I am into some freaky crap like that, but he is very much into it too, and that doesn't mean that he occasionally didn't take it too far to the point where I would express physical pain. Tom was only able to finish from the videos or if I was crying in pain, and that is the truth. Again, no one's going to assume that what she says is the truth anymore. Sorry. Also, it's true, I had never used Kiwi Farms before my relationship with Tom, and he was on the website often and did have issues with ED. Also, yes, I used to be online and I knew who Tom was, but my online activity has been very limited in the past few years, and all of my accounts were private, which again is irrelevant because texts were shown that she messaged this guy months prior to even meeting with him or matching with him. The bleeding was caused by sex, not my birth control. I made sure to note that in my text with him. I said I was on my period sometimes or just bleeding after sex if you read these screenshots we have both posted. I would be on my period off and on for months on occasion, but I would bleed consistently after blank interactions. Sure, we had sex on my period sometimes, but he would also cause me to bleed multiple times from our sexual encounters when I wasn't. There is a clear difference between period blood and blood from being wounded. Too much information. Also, the Lolita poster was in my best friend's room, and I was calling her room goals because I thought her squishmallows were cute. Tom has been in my room multiple times, and I did not have any Lolita or lollipop related stuff in my room. So I think it's odd he referenced that, especially considering Ellie's room is filled to the brim with lollipop figures, and he visited her IRL. One thing he did not address is the fact that he did hit me in the face multiple times, which I never asked for nor consented to. He also did not address Katie being bruised from their sexual encounters, which she provided with photographic evidence. The texts with my roommates were genuine, and I did tell her about a time after we had sex that was very aggressive, and he did say he liked hurting me. I was uncomfortable about that one experience, but I still stayed with it and fed into it. Tom did bring up the Liam and Kai situation with me multiple times, and I knew nothing about the details of that until he showed me pictures of them together. On one occasion, he did drive to my place and rant about Kai for like 3 hours before having sex with me that was aggressive. That is when he showed me texts from her and told me about the blackmail / just in case folder. I did ask him if it was okay to film a couple times and made jokes about the meta goggles, but the rest of the times he would start filming without asking. A couple of times I waved my hands around to get him to stop and express discomfort, and he did stop but kept the videos. I believe I held the phone up once During one of these times, I asked him to film. There are several occasions on which he would take his phone out mid sexual activity and record without asking. I also find it interesting he called me an insecure partner when another girl came forward confirming that he was indeed cheating on me throughout our relationship. Another thing he didn't address is the age play situation. The women he met up with has been exposed multiple times for being an age player and a lollipop. That was one of the main reasons for me coming forward in the first place, because she dressed like a child and fed into that stuff. Based on what I've seen from her Instagram, there's absolutely no way he would have not known this. He also did not address the comments he made towards me and Katie about us looking underage, which were genuine comments he made. The things I said in the interview about Destiny and Dick Masterson were true, and he told me those things in person, which I'm going to assume like the Destiny butt plug and doing coke with Dick Masterson. Katie and I will be making a longer response with more screenshots enhancing our side. He did ask for nudes, and we have proof of this. The unsolicited nude pictures claims are crazy. I also want to say that in my Spurg out text chain, during our breakup, I called him out multiple times for hitting me without consent, which he conveniently left out. Sacramento then says, I don't know how to print to PDF right now. I'm going through and recording a ton of videos of our text with nudes, personal info, and DMs with friends, and addresses deleted, only I have 6 videos so far. Now, her final comment says, for some reason, I do not have our text logs from before June, but everything else from that point on, from there I have. And that is the end of the Sacramento saga. That was Tuesday at 6:15 p.m. At the time of filming this video, it is Thursday, 7:46 p.m. Nothing else has been posted. So, in my humble opinion, the saga has come to an end. But apparently Null, the creator of Kiwi Farms, apparently he has an update. Now at 7 p.m., he ended up saying, there's a development I'm aware of that might become public knowledge overnight. So in the interest of keeping discussion current, I'm reopening the thread. I do ask that people only post when they have something to say, and to keep the discussion relevant, thank you. It's safe to say that nothing was posted overnight. Apparently Rowan had a list chat logs of everything, including some nudes of Tom. If she ended up dropping those, it would have been disgusting and horrible, right? We all don't want to see Turkey's big WC. But apparently she has those, right? So she has something coming. Apparently, I'm not sure what it's going to do. This lady was basically exposed as being a massive liar who tried to ruin Tom's life, ruining all of her credibility. Yes, you can argue that like what Brandon Buckingham did, where she posted her LinkedIn account, was a little inappropriate, right? You could also argue Tom didn't justify every point, right? Like there's some discussion of like the age play stuff that he didn't really dive too deep into. And then there's also discussion of the whole, night grape stuff. He didn't really clarify a lot of that. For example, the Katie call where she recorded him talking about that, he didn't really mention that. And also some of the context of Rowan talking about, I really liked when we did that stuff, that grape stuff. Tom didn't really clarify like what the before context of that was in reference to, right? That's just some of the inconsistencies I'm seeing that people still have, but in the end of the day, Tom has debunked the allegations of him doing any crimes, right? And that's pretty much what I'm happy about. So of course, I want to know what you guys think down below. As always, if you aren't, like the video, share it, subscribe it, show your mama, show your daddy. Peace out, guys. Bye.